I'm going to be telling you the curious case of the dishwasher story today. This is one of the funniest moments in Mark and I's memory, and also in our marriage to date. And it's going to take quite a bit to top this moment. And I often come back to it because there's just so many fruitful lessons in it related to work and how teams function. So Mark is like a hardcore engineer. Okay. He thinks like an engineer, he deconstructs things like an engineer, and our relationship is pretty much managed in exactly the same way. So the dishwasher was starting to really irritate me in our marriage because he just never packed it properly. And so the dishes were never washed properly. And so this always resulted in extra work for whoever had the great joy of handling the dishes that weren't washed properly. And so one day I opened the dishwasher after its wash cycle of 2.5 hours, and all the dishes are dirty. And I just had enough. I was like, I'm done. This problem has to be solved in this marriage. And so I'm like, I'm married to an engineer. How am I going to handle this? So I go and I spend 4 hours researching journal articles in like very esteemed research and scientific journals and publications as to how dishwashers have been constructed, designed, and how the water flows inside of them. And I compile the set of research links, and I then go and I promptly do the full set of dishes by hand. And I then go and I sit behind the computer and I compile a message for him in which I lay out the time wasted from the dishwasher washing and not actually washing, to me having to unpack the dirty dishes into the sink and having to wash them all, which amounted to 2 hours and 26 minutes and 17 seconds to be exact. I then laid this out in this message for him, and I then stated that this was an unacceptable way to manage a household, as it did not adhere to engineering good principles. And so I promptly sent off this message to him, and I said to him, for further reading, please reference all of these journal articles that I have taken 3 hours to source for your reading. And in these articles, you will see that dishwashers have been designed in a very specific way. And this will show you that dishwashers need to be packed in a certain way to be able to be washed optimally. Therefore, this science needs to be adhered to in our home. Long story short, if this was any other situation in our marriage, this would have most likely led to a very irritable conversation between the two of us. But Mark arrived home with this massive smile on his face, and he was like, you've got it, lady. Whatever you want, you teach me how to pack the dishwasher, and you've got it, because your point was proven solidly. He was like, I have never, ever seen such a well thought out and executed argument. He's like, you won this one. I've got no words. So I'm like running around like a kid in the house going, yes, won this argument. And the reason why I'm sharing this story with you is because dishwashers are like work. Work inside organizations is designed in a certain way. And the way it's designed is made up of how leadership approach things in that organization, how people are put together as teams to make certain functions work inside a business. And in order for things to flow optimally, the way water flows through a dishwasher, you have to actually understand that design and configuration of a team in order to maximize the output that that team needs to create and make together. And we have to go back to the very basics. We actually have to deconstruct work all over again and understand how that machinery has been put together, and then how those teams are configured and what it is that we need to have in order to create optimal workflow to get to execution that is brilliant and excellent and meets not only our customers' needs, but also the internal team's needs. And there's a few different ways to do that, but ultimately at the end of the day, work is really simple. Work is made up of 5 things: tasks, communication, meetings, documents and assets, and time management. And if you think about it, it doesn't really matter what level of or position or role you are within a team or a company. At the end of the day, if you're the barista making coffee, or if you're the CEO of a very large level global organization, your day is going to consist of those 5 things. You're going to meet with people, you're going to communicate with them, you're going to manage some type of digital asset and communication and document, you're going to task people, and you're going to manage time and a calendar. And so if we can go back to the drawing board and understand work through that simple lens and actually reconfigure our work's dishwasher, we will be able to come through the situation in a very healthy and not so stressful way, because we'll have gone back to the basics and then rebuilt ourselves. So next time the dishwasher isn't working so optimally, consider using my trick.